Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. So we still need to get 4 Tavern Brawls done and it's gonna be a little difficult. It's proven itself to be a little bit difficult, so let's hop in here and get it done. I'm also kind of short on things to talk about. So more and more it has become this element where even though I'm doing shorter recordings at 30 minutes, or barely 30 minutes sometimes, I'm still not really making 3 recordings per 3 days. Now, I know it's hard to run this calculation because I'm making maybe 2 recordings every 3 days, but I'm only airing 5 recordings every 7 days, so I understand why that would create some confusion, certainly right there, but the general idea here is that I'm probably falling behind. That ratio, I don't know how that ratio calculates out. Let's see, 2 every 3 days would be 4 every 6 days, and 5 every 7 days means I need an extra every 6 days. Like 1 extra recording.
You're dead. Get it out! Get it out!
That might be about right, but right now I guess I don't need to be too concerned about it. I have other things to be concerned about. As I'm recording now and setting up like what's happening in January going into maybe even February with Skyrim, my channel feels a little bit different. I guess I'm gonna play Darksiders no, I wasn't. I realized I actually needed to play Resident Evil 6, which is an interesting choice. I wanted to play Resident Evil 4, but for Halloween month in October, but it didn't play. So then I have the choice: do I play 5 or do I play 6? And since Resident Evil 7 is coming up pretty soon, there's logical reason to let's see, 3-2. I'm gonna go and hit the face. Since we know everybody's playing death rattles in this, it probably makes some sense not to attack and trigger death rattles yet. So yeah, even though Resident Evil 6 is gonna be the end of the original series and 7 is supposed to be the soft reboot, I think it's probably a fair way to do things. Because it is the closest full numbered Resident Evil that they've come out with, and they've come out with like Resident Evil Revelations since then and all that, but that's kind of an unfair comparison there because even they knew that it wasn't going to be done. The real problem with the Resident Evil series is the company that makes it is they're simply going to constantly pump out Resident Evil games, so even though they're all indications are that RE7 is going to be great, there's a very good chance it's not going to be, and you really can't hold back your thoughts on that one. There's a really good chance. But if Skyrim is airing before then, and if Skyrim's airing before Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 6 is airing, I've only got a point-and-click adventure time slot, and let's see. a point-and-click adventure slot, Lego the movie, the video game, the Lego movie video game kid slot, which the kid slot is gonna certainly have trouble too. And then I believe there's one other time slot in there, maybe not. Let's see, kid slot, then point-and-click adventure. Then did I have a 2 time slots before I did the AAA game, or just 1? I think I had 2 time slots, so there's like a puzzle time slot in there that I need to put Regal Solitaire in there because I've already recorded it.
I wonder. The scourge will consume you.
And
The truth is in here.
that's an issue. What's this trigger to do? Give all your death or other minions in your hand +1/+1? Yeah, no, thank you. So slime, summon 2/2/2 slimes. Let's see, I should have killed one of these guys actually. He's playing Explorer's hats like crazy. Ah, because his hand's full of Explorer's hats. Let's see.
I'll find it.
So kill this guy. And then kill this guy. Play that. And then we'll just attack here. With the rest of this. And I don't want to draw a card because who knows, I could still lose this.
My hand is too full.
So yeah, the whole time slot is weird, the whole recording thing. Oh, he's gonna be a pain in the butt. But I've already won, so it doesn't matter. So play this card because it's a Warlock card. Play this only. That's 2. Let's go through some of these other things. We talked about how ZeniMax/Bethesda sent a cease and desist to Doom RL. Well, because of that, Doom RL changed its name from Doom RL to DRL, and in some hysteria, they open sourced it too and put all the source on GitHub, which, okay, that's fine. Again, it's the exact same thing I was saying before. I shouldn't do this. I hate when people in any conversation do this and say it's like it said, because it's so obnoxious to my ear.
Shall be mine.
But just don't name your fan game anything like that. If he had started DRL and just not used any trademarks or any copyrighted names, which is all they were cease and desisting for, and that's all they can really cease and desist for, he would have been perfectly fine from the beginning and never gotten that letter. Ironically, there's another guy on YouTube that was using a, I don't want to get into too much details, but I guess I have to. He was using a cartoon bear from some cartoon show in like Canada, and basically got his entire YouTube channel destroyed and taken down because of it, because frankly all of his videos, or most of his videos, had the same cartoon bear. Arguably, that you could make the argument that it's fair use and transformative. I think you have a slightly difficult chance there, but not impossible.
Bring out your dead.
Just because if I go use Yogi Bear in a ad campaign and have Yogi Bear selling Coca-Cola, and Warner Brothers, like who I think owns Yogi Bear, didn't have an agreement to do all of that, then I don't think you could make it a valid fair use argument to say, well, because he was saying something different, but it still looked exactly like him. It looked like an endorsement or something. So, on that specific incident, it really does feel like the guy may have screwed up totally. Unfortunately, the way this all goes down on YouTube is awful, and it just reinforces my opinion that I desperately need some other backup. Yeah, deal 1 damage. So this is gonna do 2 damage to everybody. So,
oh, goody.
I guess I have to do this. And see, this isn't doubling the death rattles again. So this is a terrible card. Because it's not working. Or maybe it is working and I'm not seeing it work. Elder Scrolls Online has added a homestead expansion. Oddly, though, to me, it seems like it's less feature complete than what is in Fallout 4, and much closer to what you could do in Skyrim originally. Not even the Hearthstone expansion, which did allow you to do a little bit more. See, I shouldn't have done this, actually. Oh well. I guess I might as well. So it seems like you mostly just purchase a home of one of like 11 different homes, and then you purchase furnishings and furniture that are craftable by the players, and so there's gonna try to be an online component of crafting and selling and buying, but it seems much closer to just like the original Skyrim, where you went up to the house, to the, not Carl, but the assistant of the Jarl in the city, and said, I'd like to purchase home. He'd say, give me this much money, here's the key, and then you go, I'd like to furnish my home, and then he goes, give me this much money, and it will be furnished, and that's kind of all it was.
Echoes are returned.
The real problem here, I think, that we're going to run into, as far as a the next Elder Scrolls game that's a single player game, if there ever is one, is it seems like they're trying to make Elder Scrolls Online be a thing, and it's just never going to be a thing, and it seems like they're probably wasting their effort on that, and I don't know if that's really going to help the next Elder Scrolls game. And the next Elder Scrolls game needs a lot of help. If they come out in like 3 or 4 years and announce they're going to make Fallout 5, and they're just not doing Elder Scrolls anymore, I think they would lose half of their audience, Bethesda would, and I think a lot of people would be upset. What is this character? Someone won copies of your other minions. Interesting.
Need you to master.
Let's see.
To the void. From the void I come.
Let's go ahead and draw this. Job done. In the turn. The Switch is going to have a GameCube Virtual Console. It's going to support like Mario Sunshine, according to a rumor. You kind of would hope. You would hope they could do at least GameCube. Why not also do Wii and Wii U games? If the Switch is gonna succeed at all, it's gotta get some kind of virtual console or porting system of some sort in everything they've got to offer as far as Nintendo, which is not enough. Most definitely not enough. Let's see. This guy. And
For master.
this guy. I think I've lost. There's this game called Hob that I think I've already talked about, but I saw it again and I was just writing things down at this point to talk about. It's a Zelda-ish game. We certainly need more Zelda-ish games. I know Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to come out, but particularly if I was going to try to play Nintendo games, if somehow they stopped content IDing in YouTube, copyright striking people, then I guess I would have to play the Switch plugged in the whole time. I couldn't take it portable, obviously, and I would still only have a small selection of games. It's really the problem. It's not worth it. It would make a lot more sense. I think if I was to spend the probably $500 to get a capture box, I would get an Xbox One, and then I would get the Xbox One exclusives, and possibly go back and play maybe the Lego games from the 360 copies, like the backward compatibilities. I have a lot of 360 games that I could potentially port over. That would be a compelling idea too, but that's kind of the only thing I could think of doing with it. Then the next step would be to get the PlayStation 4 and see what exclusives I could get on the PlayStation 4. It'd be a coin toss really to get the PlayStation 4 before the Xbox One though, because if I get the Xbox One, I'm probably playing games I've already played, or games that are more shooters and less fantasy and adventure things. Like The Last of Us 2 has been announced. I would like to play The Last of Us 1, but how do I do that? Let's see. So let's just go and spoil his ability right now, and then draw a card. Job done. And then end the turn. But so if Hob comes out to PC, I will definitely want to play it, assuming it's good. Excitebike 64 is going to the Wii U Virtual Console. Why that even bothered to get announced? It's like something's going to the Wii U Virtual Console. Good to know. There's definitely a lot of weirdness there. Speaking of weirdness, I started watching the Grand Tour on Amazon Prime, the replacement for Top Gear, and the way it's encoded in like surround sound. And so because the app on the PlayStation 3 that I'm streaming it through either knows that on Amazon Prime or something, it knows that I'm plugged into a surround sound, but there's no speakers plugged into it. I just use it as a HDMI switcher, which is a waste of a $400 device, certainly, but frankly, what can I do? I can't have a 7.1 surround system going while I'm playing games, and when I'm not watching TV, I usually don't care enough to want to play things loudly, that loudly. In fact, I've not really successfully had a good experience lately of let's see, do I want to get this over and done with? Like, this will do 2 damage and kill everybody.
So many
And I think it's better to do this.
The better to eat you with. The better to eat you with.
Yep. That didn't quite work the way I thought it was going to. So, because it's a surround sound, though, they put all the dialogue in the center channel. And since I don't have a center channel, you can actually watch the beginning of the Grand Tour, and it's not making any sound. It's just background music in the track. Because of that. So to fix that, I have to actually turn on my surround sound from off mode to surround sound mode, and just let it down mix to the stereo on my TV. And so that's certainly weird, but not talking about anything here. In fact, we might as well talk about the other thing that's weird, and it's kind of a shame for me because I kind of like Pebble watches, but they're horribly in debt and they've been mismanaged horribly, and they didn't do anything with the e-paper, the e-paper technology, particularly when they had the opportunity to really save the day by, let's see.
The scourge will consume you.
This. And then.
Excuse me.
This one. This one. And that's just not doubling. Oh yes, it is doubling. Interesting. In turn. So yeah, Pebble's been horribly mismanaged. At one point, they were offered like $450 million or $1 billion for it. Intel offered them like $40 billion or million. I'm not sure. For the company, and the guy was just holding out for more money, and now he's so in debt. It seems like he's sold his patents and licenses, which will probably get better used by Fitbit, to Fitbit, for reportedly $20 billion. So you lost like $430 billion worth of value in your company by just mismanaging and holding out for more. I think even after their first Kickstarter, they probably should have seen the writing on the wall and said, look, we're having trouble fulfilling here, and
What we do.
because we're having trouble fulfilling, let's see this. Oh, this is so dumb. I should have killed this one first. There we go. They should have seen even there that they were having trouble fulfilling, and that a technology like e-ink and e-paper is kind of a groundbreaking technology and should be in so many other devices, and it simply isn't, because it's been held by a company that can't handle it. Now, this is what I am spouting right now is downright like capitalism 101 garbage. Really, is the argument that a bigger company should own all the patents because they'll use it instead of the non-acting entities, aka patent trolls, who are just going to hold on to the thing of the development technology. And this is, it's a real stretch to say Pebble was a patent troll. They weren't. But it kind of makes sense why somebody might try to make that argument, because there's just so, I mean, they really didn't do anything. They sold a few watches that weren't very good. They didn't build a good programming language on it, so it didn't get a bunch of add-ons, apps, and games in comparison to what is still a very fledgling technology of the smartwatch brands. The new Android Wear and the iWatch do way more as far as having apps and integration and looking good. The only downfall for all the Android smartwares and the iPhones is the batteries on them suck because they're powering a LCD screen with a backlight, and that's where the ink and e-paper would have saved the day if they had licensed it out really cheaply. And I think, frankly, that's kind of the problem. And so, yes, it is my response is I hope Fitbit can do more and they will license it out to other people. In the reality, though, what should have happened, and the sad truth of it is the patent system is just completely pointless now. I can't see in much, if any, instances that it helps society at all. People hold patents and copyrights forever, and I think patents and copyrights are the same thing. It's just both of them should get thrown out of the legal system, and it should just be corporate secrets. If you know how to make e-ink, you're corporate. That's a corporate secret. It's not the government's business at all. If you fire somebody that worked in your ink factory and they go tell it to your competitor, you shouldn't have fired them. Or you should have paid them more to keep their mouth shut. It's still not the government's interest. The fact that the government does so much to protect corporate interests in the United States and in probably most first world countries is what's really messed up with our government system and really hurting the citizens. Ideally, there would have been no patent on ink. It would have just come in and been discovered and been this great new discovery, and every single new watch would have worked with it, and every single new watch would have lasted for weeks on one charge, and we would have been in a lot better place with development of ink, because ink went from being a very low pixel black and white to being a slightly higher pixel RGB colors, not a very large amount of colors, but red, green, and blue at the very least. And the reason for that is because it was only being used by a couple of companies. Now there is a company that makes this foreign e-ink tablet kind of ebook that's in color, because Kindles originally were black and white things. The Kindle Paperwhite is still a black and white e-ink thing. Imagine the Kindle in color. There is one company that makes those.
So many possibilities.
But it charges itself like $600 a tablet in bulk, to schools and colleges. That's the only people it sells to, and it doesn't work that well, and it doesn't look that good to be in color. And that technology should be so much better developed. There should have so much more competition research there, and that's it. If there was no patents and no trademarks, there would be so much competitions because there would be so many knockoffs that the price of things would go down, and we would effectively have deflation. I'm getting into a economics rant here, but that's exactly what would happen. This is what happens in China all the time. And yes, there is no quality control in China, and so the U.S. government could be a little bit better, and the Chinese government could be better about doing quality control. But if you don't want to get a Sony TV in China, which may not even be available, you can go get a phony TV, and it will look the same and play TV.
The truth is in here.
And if people really do want quality and want the Sony product, that is it. So I wouldn't get rid of trademarks. That's the one thing I wouldn't get rid of. I would get rid of patents and copyrights, but I wouldn't get rid of trademarks. So if somebody is misrepresenting this and this is an iPhone, they say, but it's actually an iPhone-y, well then, yes, you can get your money back and they can get thrown in jail for fraud, because fraud still would certainly be against the law in my theoretical country. Let's see, I'm gonna leave that alone. There's a couple more things to talk about, and after this game there's nothing. It's a shame that Pebble, when it is effectively dead now. They're not, also, by the way, was honoring warranties, which I think probably is fraudulent. What's this death rattle? What is Lost Hunter? Face. So yeah, there's a level of fraud there too, but I mean, if the company's going out of business, there goes the warranty on your watch. I wanted to get the Pebble 2, kind of, but not really. Like, I never bought a Pebble. I wanted to get one, but I was still waiting for them to improve the technology. I need a nice color screen that actually could be somewhat programmable and maybe do some better notifications and integrate well. There wasn't a single element on the Pebble that was ready for prime time, and that's really a shame. Ironically, I think right now the best thing you could do if you wanted an e-watch is to get one that is a pocket watch, therefore it takes up more space, and therefore you can have a bigger battery and a bigger screen. And I've seen one company that makes that, and it certainly makes a lot of sense. But you're going to look very weird pulling out your pocket watch. It's not a wrist, and that really defeats the purpose of a wristwatch. Because you can't glance and see the time. So I'm still kind of just waiting for one good watch that's not $500 for what effectively is $80 worth of value. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. On the right there's a button that says support this channel, and down below in the description box I have links to all my social media sites. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.